You are Locked On Giants Postcast, part of Locked On Sports San Francisco on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Giants Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR. And today, man, not just today, but all the second half of September, this post-elimination Giants team, are they the best team in the freaking world or what, man? They won again today over the Diamondbacks on the road. Again, of course, 11-0 today, 5 home runs for the Giants. Another shutout on this road trip, the 4th of the road trip. I mean, my God, this team making me lose my mind via frustration. Why couldn't they do this earlier in the season? Who the hell knows? But, I mean, is this the greatest team ever assembled, this post-elimination Giants roster? Will the Giants go 81-0 on the road next year? No to both. But this road trip has been pretty fun during an otherwise painful season. We'll break it all down. But first, I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Sports San Francisco YouTube channel. Please, please, please hit that subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed. Thanks also for tuning in on the Locked On Giants podcast feed and making us your first listen following these Giants games. Make sure to check out the Locked On Giants Daily Show for more in-depth coverage as your second listen. Ben Kaspick does a great job. And this episode is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your baseball rivals. Book today on Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today. In this one, the Giants got on the board first with the most unlikely guy on this team to hit a home run. In fact, all of the unlikely guys on this team to hit home runs seemed to get into one tonight. But first on the board was Patty Barrels. Pat Bailey swats his 8th home run of the season. This guy, for Pat Bailey to run into one, you knew that was going to be a good night for the Giants because Bailey hasn't hit a home run since July 10th against the Blue Jays was the last time that Pat Bailey hit a home run. I mean, he's been really, really, really struggling in the second half. I mean, since the All-Star break, he's batting just 158. His on-base percentage just 198. The slugging only at 190. The OPS 388. That is the lowest in all of Major League Baseball since the All-Star break. That's not very good. But Pat Bailey today figured it out. And also this month of September, what month are we in? September has been a lot better than the rest of the second half for Pat Bailey. I mean, since September started, he's been a little bit better. I mean, on this road trip, he had a couple hits coming in to tonight, but tonight, man, a multi-hit game for Pat Bailey. Really good to see. He scored 3 runs tonight. Was on base 3 times, drew a walk, and had 2 hits, including that home run. He needs to figure out how he can stay on the field in the second half, though, man, because Pat Bailey has been so valuable to this team. I mean, it's been tough, but in the month of August, he's 13 for 51 after going for or in the month of September, he's 13 for 51 after going just 4 for 64. 4 for 64 in August, 13 for 51 coming into tonight. He adds 2 more hits and another walk to that total. So Pat Bailey coming around for the Giants a little bit. He's obviously been doing his thing defensively back there all season long, but really valuable for the Giants to figure out how to get this guy to be, better than the worst offensive player in baseball. I think that's a start, because this guy needs to be on the field as often as possible for his defense and what he brings to this pitching staff, the way that he's the best battery mate that you could ask for, the way he's framing strikes out there, the best in baseball at doing it. And you can tell pitchers like pitching to the guy. He's got a great command over just how he's calling games and things like that. His pitchers trust him. And Pat Bailey is one of the best defensive catchers in all of baseball. So you need to figure out a way that he can stay on the field offensively as well and give this team something. I mean, he's obviously given them a lot defensively, but you got to do something offensively. So maybe Pat Bailey can be the bunt specialist for the Giants in the second half of next season, because God knows they need a bunt specialist with the way that they've been so bad at playing small ball this year. But Today, don't need small ball when you hit it over the fence. That 1-0 lead was short-lived because in the third inning, the Giants had two separate 3-run jacks, and one of them by Michael Conforto, who this dude on this road trip has been unreal. Coming into today, he was batting .346 on this road trip with 9 hits and 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, and 5 runs scored. 3 home runs on this road trip already. Make it 4 for Michael Conforto and 10 hits. Man, oh man, this guy has really played out of his mind at the end of this season. And yes, I did for a lot of this season say I was pretty tired of the Michael Conforto experiment, and I still kind of am. I don't think that he's going to be part of this Giants roster next season or for years to come at all. But I think that that's in large part just because of the makeup of the roster. Michael Conforto is a guy who needs to play every day in order to hit his stride. You see what happens when he's healthy and in the lineup all the time, not being platooned against lefty-righty matchups. And the Giants just don't have room for him next year. You have one outfield space open because Ramos and Lee, those are both locks. And do you really want Michael Conforto out there next year just based on the way that he's ended this season? I'm going to say no, but he's going to make you think about it because he's now up to 20 home runs. And let's face it, the Giants don't really have very many power bats. I mean, guys that you can rely on to hit 20-plus home runs in a season. And Michael Conforto is one of the few guys on this team that you could peg as a 20 home run a season guy. He's also probably going to, hopefully, I mean, I don't know, I say probably, but hopefully he will be more healthy next year than he's been the last 2 seasons with the Giants. He has not had a very good track record with his health here in San Francisco. Now, he's a 30 home run a year guy, or at least he has hit 30 home runs in a season. He did that for the Mets the year he made the All-Star team when he stayed healthy pretty much the whole year. If he can put that back together, a season like that back together next year, I think he can. I just don't think he's going to be back with the Giants. The dollar amount's going to become too high, and I just don't think he fits in. Defensively, he isn't as good as the other options that you can put out there in right field, which matters a lot at Oracle Park with the big gap in right center and the wall and all that fun stuff. And if you're going to bring back a guy who hits about 15 to 20 home runs a year and you need him to play some defense, maybe you bring back Mike Yastrzemski just because that's been Mikey Yaz's spot since he got here several years ago. And I don't think Michael Conforto has really shown enough at the plate offensively to make you think that he could make up for the gap in defense between those two guys next season. You also have Grant McCray in the mix, and don't forget about Luis Matos. If that guy's going to maybe pop at the beginning next season, that's always a possibility. So I don't see Michael Conforto coming back with this team, but he adds another home run, 4th home run on this road trip. That is absurd. This guy's been playing out of his mind. I mean, maybe he's feeling the pressure to, get that dollar, that AAV, that average annual value up for his contract as he heads into free agency this offseason. And the Giants, they weren't done there. They smashed 2 more home runs. Elliot Ramos in the top of the 4th, solo home run, gave the Giants an 8-0 lead. And then Tyler Fitzgerald, a 10-0 lead for the Giants. His first home run since August 14th versus Atlanta. Fitz almost added another one there in the 9th inning as he smashed one off the top of the wall and left, had a bunch of topspin on it, so it just kind of sunk down right at the end there. We also, I teased you guys. I said there was 2 home runs in that 3rd inning. We talked about the Michael Conforto. Well, the second one in that inning, the second 3-run bomb of the inning, was off the bat of Brett Wisely, and this was his first bomb since June. You thought it was a long time since Pat Bailey hit a home run since June 28th for Brett Wisely against the Dodgers. It feels like half the season ago. This guy has been, up and down since then, but went down to AAA, and he was only 4 for 37 since being recalled on August 30th. So he's been down bad recently. Brett Wisely running into one here in the 3rd inning for the Giants. And that was good to see because, I like watching the little guy hit the home runs. He's been a pretty solid rotational piece for the Giants. It's his 4th home run of the year. Remember the walk-off home run Wisely had earlier this season. So he's been pretty good for the Giants. He's played a bunch of different positions. Offensively, though, he definitely took a nosedive in the second half after he was pretty solid in the beginning of the season. He was getting on base a lot. We're not going to expect Brett Wisely to hit a bunch of home runs. That's not who this guy is. Smallest guy on the team, but he profiles as a guy who can play a lot of different positions and just battle at bats out and get you some base hits, steal some bags. And the best ability is availability. Brett Wisely can play all over the field, gives him a lot of availability. So I do like the Brett Wisely bench flexibility that he gives you. I like that he can play all these different positions with a plus glove. Like I don't mind seeing him out in center field on a night when you need to give Jung-Hoo Lee an off day. I don't mind seeing him out at second base when you need to spell some of the infielders. I don't even hate seeing him at shortstop every now and again as a backup. Now, I don't want him my everyday shortstop, mind you, but I like Brett Wisely. I think he figures in to be a factor of this Giants roster next season. I don't think he's going to be vying for an everyday role at any of these positions. But this was, so many guys picking themselves up. It's been so long since the likes of Tyler Fitzgerald, Brett Wisely, and Pat Bailey had hit home runs. It was good to see someone other than Matt Chapman and Michael Conforto driving in some runs for this team, and Elliot Ramos. He's been doing a lot lately, almost hit for the cycle the other night against the Royals. This Giants team, though, we've been talking a lot about offense here, and it's been so fun to watch this Giants team start pouring on runs the way that they have been. You hang 10 on the Baltimore Orioles, and then I think they had like a 9 or an 8 run game against the Royals, and then now you have another 11 run outing. The Giants are just putting up crooked numbers all over the place. And today, you look at the at the box score, the Giants scored runs in the second inning, the third inning, the fourth inning, the fifth inning, and the eighth inning. If you score runs in 5 innings, you're probably going to win a game, man. And especially considering that these aren't all just like 1 run out instances. Like in the third inning, you put up a crooked number of 6 in 1 inning. The Giants, when they put up crooked numbers, have shown time and time again that they can win baseball games, man. And this starting pitching staff has been unbelievable in the month of September. In the second half of September, it seems like this starting staff hasn't given up more than like 2 or 3 runs in what feels like, twice through the last 2 full rotations through the starting pitching staff. I don't think have given up more than like 2 or 3 runs in like damn near 2 weeks now. So this Giants team really putting it all together. And that leads me to my next point. The Giants, their 4th shutout of this road trip. And man, that is, the way that this team has all of a sudden just come alive, the way that this second half, that these pitchers have all started to really put it together. The bullpen, everybody, Logan Webb, this might have been the final time that we saw him today or this season. This might have been the last outing. So we're going to take a quick break here, reflect on Logan Webb's month of September. It's his 2nd win of the month. It was only 1-3 coming into it. This might have been the last outing of the year for Logan Webb. So let's take a quick break. On the other side, let's talk about his day, what worked for him, what didn't. A lot worked for him. Getting right to the point. Logan Webb, another 6 innings, no runs. Great outing for Webby. Let's take a quick break here on the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and today the Giants win. A big one, 11-0 over the D-backs and another shutout for this team on the road. Playing out of their minds, absolutely out of their minds in this final road trip of the season. It started back in that quick trip that they took down to San Diego. It was just that one series that they played down there on the road before coming back to Oracle, and then they hit the road again. And man, this team has not stopped winning on the road since then. Logan Webb, this might have been the last time we saw him this year in all of 2024, but he did it again. Another 200 innings for Logan Webb Today, he did it the way he always does it with the groundouts, man. He had 10 groundouts, only 3 flyouts, 95 pitches, 64 strikes, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. Logan Webb, again, over 200 innings pitched. We at the beginning of the season, man, I told you guys I was throwing in some shekels on Logan Webb to win the NL Cy Young, and I do think he's going to get some down ballot votes, but I don't think he's going to win. I think that's. I mean, we can just hand that award over to Chris Sale right now, can't we? I mean, that guy's been unbelievable all season long. But Webby, man, Logan Webb has been so good for the Giants, and it just makes. I was sitting there watching the game tonight, just thinking about the growth of Logan Webb over this tumultuous period of time that we've had with like Farhan and all the missed opportunities, the bad seasons. The 107 win season was great, but through Buster Posey retiring and all these just bad vibes in the Giants franchise, it's been a really rough last few years. And the steadiest, the constant, the one steady thing that this team, the guiding star of this team has been Logan Webb. This guy has been rock steady for the Giants basically since he got up here as a rookie. And he's just blossomed into, like, he has so much command over the game when he's in there, man. The way that he's so cool and calm and collected on the hill, and the game goes at his pace. When he wants to pitch, he's pitching. I mean, he's a guy who likes to work fast, you know what I mean? But he feels like he is in such control over the game. Like, there's no moment that's too big for him. He's seen everything that this game has to throw at him. And it reflects that. His attitude, the way that he quietly leads this team, this entire staff, everybody looks to him at this point. He is the veteran that everyone's looking to at this point. And man, it does not feel like that long ago that Logan Webb was just that young kid in the rotation that was maybe going to be a nice piece. And Buster Posey was saying all these great things about him. And now look at Webby, man, so inspirational. I mean, and just mowing dudes down, doing the same thing he's been doing, being one of the last Batsians of like the old way of pitching, of the old National League type of pitching where you pitch to contact. He only had 3 strikeouts today, man, but that didn't matter because he still got a shutout, only 1 walk. And I mean, obviously, dude works ground balls like nobody's business. Another 10 ground outs today for Logan Webb in 6 innings. I mean, you're getting more than half your outs via the ground ball. Like, you're setting yourself up for double plays. You're setting yourself up to keep runs to keep runners off the base paths and to prevent runners from advancing and taking multiple bags at a time. I mean, this has been so fun to watch Webb as a Giant in his time the last few years. I mean, even this season, he had some rough patches, but I mean, including this month, the end of the season was looking a little rough for Webby. But the win salvages this month. He's still going to be 2-3 on the season, but or 2-2 on the month win-loss record-wise. But who really cares about those win-loss records anyways for pitchers, man, nowadays? But for Webby, it's a great outing for him this month. It's his first shutout outing this month. I know he didn't go the distance, but 6 shutout innings. Every other outing this month, he gave up some runs, gave up 3 runs or more in every start since August 21st. The last time that he gave up less than 3 runs in a start was against the White Sox back in August. So Webby really turning it around for himself and ending the season on a high note, man. I think that this Giants team is really going to benefit from just crushing the end of the season the way they have going into next year. They have a lot of momentum right now. And I mean, for all intents and purposes, you want to be playing your best baseball at the end of the year, at the end of September. You want something to build on that you can ride that momentum into the playoffs. That is, if you're going to make the playoffs, unlike the Giants, who are going to be, on vacation somewhere, sitting at home, 1-2-3 Cancun, who knows? But the one thing I do know about this team, they're now 79-79, back to 500. With the win tonight, they match their win total from last season. And this Giants team now, I mean, they look poised to finish the season over 500. Can they sweep the Diamondbacks tomorrow? If they win tomorrow, sweep the D-backs and finish off the road. This road stretch this way would be incredible. It would be winning 10 of their last 11. Even if they lose tomorrow, doesn't really matter. You've still won. You win your last 4 road series of the season. Like, that's incredible for a team that was as bad on the road all season as they were. It felt like this team was 10 games below 500 on the road, like all season long. And now with the win today, they're 38-42. They could finish the season 39-42 on the road, man. They would be just 3 games under 500, that would be pretty crazy. And series wise now with the win, because with the win today, they win the series. They're now 500 on the road in road series. They're 12-12-2 in road series. That's absolutely nuts. It's only one less series than they won at home. They won 13 series at home and 12 on the road this year. They have a chance to win one more home series as the Cardinals come to town, and they can finish off the season with a series win. That would be nice. But I'm really impressed with what they've done on the road, and all these final four stops on the road trip, the Padres, the Orioles, the Royals, and now the Diamondbacks. All 4 of these teams, at least at the time the Giants were playing them, were in the playoffs. Now with the loss today, the Diamondbacks have some serious potential for missing the playoffs. I mean, the Braves are right there. The Mets are currently in the playoffs right now, but the Diamondbacks the Braves are right behind them, and the Diamondbacks are now just a half game above the Braves for that third and final National League wildcard spot. So the Giants doing a really good job putting the pressure on the Diamondbacks and the Royals, playing spoiler. It seems like they could get up to end someone else's season, but couldn't get up to save theirs. So that's a little frustrating. Would have liked to see the Giants kind of flip this switch back in like July, maybe August, when they still had a chance. If you started playing like this at the beginning of August, you have a chance to go on a crazy run at the end of the season and finish this one off with a playoff appearance. But that's not what happened. And the Giants are going to be missing this year's postseason, as we all know. And maybe that's just a sign that this team doesn't do well with the pressure, man. I mean, with runners in scoring position, this team's been really bad all season long. In all these pressure situations, this team has not done great. The Camilo Doval collapse in the pressure situations, there's been a lot of issues, but the one thing that's remained constant is that at least since the Giants were eliminated is that they can now do all these things pretty unbridled. I mean, the one constant for this team has been the bullpen, aside from Camilo Doval throughout most of this season, and when they were forced to, play the role of starting pitchers and bullpen, that wasn't very great. They didn't do great during that stretch either, but this bullpen has really shown you during this stretch, I think, how valuable they can be to this team, because every time that we get into, you don't get 4 shutouts on the road without having a bullpen that is on fire, man. The starting pitchers doing their job, getting us deep into the game, keeping runs off the board. But that's when the pressure's on, and the bullpen has answered the bell time and time again on this road trip. 4 shutouts in one road trip is absolutely bananas. Logan Webb, if this is the last time that we saw Webby in 2024, I salute you, sir. Thank you for your 200 plus innings, your ability to pitch 7+ innings when seemingly no one else on this Giants roster could even reach the 7th inning. And I'm sorry that we couldn't get you back into the postseason, Webby. Maybe next year. That's the expectation. That is, definitely is the expectation for next season. These Giants need to reach the postseason. And there's a lot of rumors and stuff that came out today with Farhan speaking to the media. He kind of admitted that the ownership group is evaluating everything going into next season, including him, and that he understands why and all that kind of stuff. And all that, I'm sure Ben will do a deep dive on. Ben Kaspick, I'm sure we'll do a full show on that. So make sure you're looking out for that for your second listen after you're done getting the postcast on your Giants wins and things like that. Maybe go tune in to Ben's show, check out all the details and what is happening with Farhan and this evaluation with the ownership group, and what's that mean for the Giants' future. Is he going to come back in the offseason? Heard a couple of names floating around that the Giants, from media people, not from anyone at the Giants, but heard a couple media people throw some names around of guys that they would like to see be in the front office, women they would like to see in the front office potentially, and what that might mean for this Giants team. We aren't going to have time to get into all of that here on the Locked On Giants postcast, but make sure you're tuning into Ben Kaspick's Locked On Giants podcast, where he'll have more time to get into that kind of minutia, where we got to stick on this game, man. The Giants today, 5 bombs, man. And Logan Webb really pitched well. And we talked about the offense. We talked about Webby. Let's give the bullpen some love. And let's take one final look back at some other news and notes from this game. Stick with us on the Locked On Giants postcast. We're going to take a quick break here, put a bow on it on the other side. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. This episode of the Locked On Giants Postcast is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. The right state can make you a fan of any city, even your baseball rivals. Book today on Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today. Explore those U.S. cities you always secretly wanted to learn more about. And yes, I'm talking about your baseball rival city with hotels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on Booking.com. You might just find your perfect stay, even in Los Angeles, Arizona, San Diego. Who knows? Maybe it's time to taste test your baseball competition stadium cuisine. Luckily, on Booking.com, you can find the stadium stay that's just right for you. With Booking.com's wide variety of choice across the U.S., you can go incognito to all your baseball rival cities. No matter what team you're rooting for this postseason, Booking.com can make you a fan of any U.S. city, from hotels that overlook stadiums to family-friendly resorts and cute bed and breakfast stays. Booking.com has so many choices across the U.S. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball rivals. Booking.com, Booking.yeah. And today's show is also sponsored by FanDuel. And hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just place it. Don't even need to win. That's FanDuel.com. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. Today, the Giants win 11-0 again on the road over the D-backs. And the bullpen, man, we talked about the offense. We talked about the pitching. I want to give some love to the bullpen because, again, the Giants had 3 innings to get through, and they only needed to use 2 guys to get through it. Austin Warren, Tristan Beck. I mean, I can't say enough about Tristan Beck. This dude, for him to come back the way that he has and actually be effective, like, it's one thing to return from that aneurysm in his arm that he had and actually like make it back to a big league team. That alone is an accomplishment. But for him to come back and I mean, another scoreless inning for him, his ERA now over 12 innings is 1.50 since he returned to this Giants team. I mean, the Giants were expecting good things from him this year, and we didn't really get to see that. We didn't get to see enough of Beck to make any kind of a judgment on him other than dude is tough as nails, man, to come back from an injury like that and actually be successful, like coming again, just making it back to the team. If he made it back and had a Luke Jackson year on all of us, I don't think we could blame him, but he made it back. And this guy, again, 1.50 ERA in only 12 innings pitched. So small sample size, but Tristan Beck deserves a lot of recognition for what he's been doing. Austin Warren also came in and had 2 scoreless innings. Man, that one of those, he made a guy swing and miss on a slider that nearly hit him in the foot. And that was a really filthy pitch, man. Warren's been pretty decent for the Giants. His ERA is sitting at 2.08. He's also another guy who's had limited action. He was returning from injury to come to the Giants this season. So he kind of had a slow start to this season too. Didn't get on the mound until the second half. And both of these guys, testament to perseverance and stick-to-itiveness. And look what you got. You got a Giants inning or a Giants game where we didn't need Camilo Doval or Ryan Walker or like any of these other high profile, neither of the Rogers twins. Like you had 0 high profile arms coming out of the bullpen tonight. You of course had Logan Webb starting the game, the highest profile arm of them all on this team. But I mean, that's what we got to credit the bullpen when the bottom of the barrel in the bullpen is pitching like this. It shows you that everybody in that pen is on. And that's what it's been like throughout the last few months of this season. The Giants bullpen has been really, really good. And we would have noticed that a lot more. This Giants team was actually in competition to make the playoffs and were playing in a lot of close games, but they just weren't, man. Before we take a quick break here, before we wrap up this show, I want to check out the chat real quick. And I mean, John's asking, will the endless climb to 500 continue tomorrow? Well, John, my man, they won today. They climbed to 500. They summited the mountain. Now, the only question is, can they hang on to the summit before the wind blows them off by the end of the season? I mean, can they wrap up the season and stay at 500 or better? I mean, you have what? You have 5 games left after today. 4 games left after today. So the Giants play tomorrow, then they have an off day, and then they have 3 more games against the Cardinals. So you're going to need to win at least 2 of those games to stay at 500. I'm hoping the Giants win 3 of them and finish over. So we'll see if that happens. And one more question. Jeep asks, if I'm bringing the beard back, man. It wasn't intentional for it to go away in the first place. This Giants team, when they were getting shut out those 3 consecutive days in a row, just broke my brain, and I short-circuited and went full 2007 Britney Spears and shaved the whole thing off, man. So it's coming back slowly but surely, man. I'm hoping I don't look quite, 12 years old anymore with a little bit of the stubble growing back, but it is what it is, man. This Giants team has been torturous all season long to me and everybody else that's had been forced to endure this season. So it is what it is. But today we can all take solace in knowing the Giants are back to 500 for one more day. Logan Webb finished the season on a high note. 5 home runs for the Giants, 4 shutouts on this road trip alone, and an 11-0 win over the D-backs today. With that, that's all the time that we got for you guys today on the Locked On Giants postcast. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We only got 4 more of these, man, so make sure you're tuning in. We'll come to you live tomorrow as we wrap up the series in Arizona. This has been the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll see you next time. Peace.